we have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
You don't want to do this.
That nigga gonna get beat up. Hey, you better get in the car. He whoop your ass. I'm not helping. Not helping.
You not helping?
Hell no.
I was just.
He coming over here too. Close the door. Close the door.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. We had some big games in college hoops on Sunday. The Michigan State Spartans got their revenge on the Michigan Wolverines, ranked #2 in the country. They take down Big Blue 70-64. Henry had 18 points, with Hauser finishing with 11 and Watts 21 points off the bench. The win keeps the Michigan State Spartans on the right side of the NCAA bubble. Updated Saturday night from Lenardi and ESPN, Michigan State is currently on the last four in line. A win against a #2 team and conference champion should all but seal the deal. The #3 Baylor Bears rolled over Texas Tech 88-73. Iowa 77-73 winners over the #25 Wisconsin Badgers. And Memphis took one on the chin as they're on the bubble. They lose 67-64 to #9 Houston. Southeastern Conference action had the Tennessee Volunteers upending the Florida Gators 65-54. Fulkerson, Johnson, and Bailey all had 14 points for the Vols. That should improve Tennessee from their 6th line currently, and Florida at the 9 is bound to slide depending on the SEC tournament. On Saturday, the San Francisco Giants signed Jose Alvarez to a 1-year deal. Alvarez only pitched 8 innings in 2020 after being struck by a line drive, but had a 1.42 ERA with the Phillies. The 1-year deal, worth $1.15 million, has a club option for the veteran reliever in 2022. Also on Saturday, right-hander Jake Odorizzi and the Houston Astros have agreed to a 2-year deal with the player option for 2023. The Astros, who lost Framber Valdez for an indefinite period of time, also are missing Justin Verlander, who is likely to miss the entire season. Odorizzi was the top free agent left out on the market. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Stopped in and checked out a little axe throwing this weekend, and this guy has found his new anxiety routine. Very therapeutic. You guys got to check it out.
In a non-related note, Justin will be out the next 3 to 5 weeks, somewhere in the next few days, as he'll chop his arm off.
You use your arm to throw the axe. I find that highly improbable and impossible.
Oh, buddy,
Somebody will do it. Somebody will do it.
I believe in you. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
tried to change Leonard. That's just what happens in relationships. Look how much Amy's changed you.
That's not true.
Oh, please. When I first met you, you were incapable of touching another human being. Now you're holding hands, you're going on dates. You even made out with her on a train.
She told you?
Of course she told me. It's the most interesting thing that's ever happened to her in her entire life.
You're too close to her, but Amy has had a huge impact on you.
You're right. Without realizing it, I've allowed that woman to alter my personality.
Sheldon, you didn't have a personality. You just had some shows you liked.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi, top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee sitting alongside Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing great. Still don't understand where the insurance guy falls into this axe throwing. The one that I cared to stop into was built inside a bar. So I don't know much, but I know one thing. That's not a good place to have an axe throwing location, stupid. Is inside a bar. Because I'm sitting there the entire time thinking, okay, I could invite this friend. Can't invite that guy. That guy's kicked out already. He can't come. Before long, I'm like, man, I'm just here by myself. I might chop an arm off.
Yeah, I don't know. I've often wondered about that because they're all over the state of Florida. Of course, I know that doesn't shock anybody. If you can lose a limb, it's legal in the state of Florida. But I've often wondered, how the world do you get an insurance company to go ahead with that? Because all it takes is one numbskull who's drunk and throws it either the wrong direction on an accident, or B, the more likelihood gets in an argument and uses it as a weapon, and then the lawsuits are coming. So I'm waiting for that story to happen. I will not check out.
I definitely think that'll be a Florida guy story. I think it will be.
Oh, definitely. He'll be out there trying to chop the head off a gator or something. Something.
The whole bar goes out there 6-lane deeps with throwing axes.
Exactly. Oh man. Did you watch Coming to America too?
Most all of it. I think I missed about the last 20-25 minutes. Did see a lot. It was funny. The parts I do remember, but
I thought it sucked. I thought it absolutely sucked.
Really? You didn't find it humorous at all?
I wish I would have missed the last 25 minutes, but I made up my mind that we were going to watch the whole thing through. Me and my wife, man, we were bored to tears. I just thought it was sloppy. I just felt like that there was first of all, the storyline, they basically just used the same storyline from the first movie, which was really disappointing. And then it wasn't that funny. Like, it was okay at times. But when I think of an Eddie Murphy classic, I want to laugh pretty much through it. And then I felt like the cast, they just took the untalented staff or untalented cast of today's Saturday Night Live and threw them on there and forced them down your throats. And they all sucked. I mean, they were the worst. Eddie Murphy was great as always. I thought Arsenio did a good job. I didn't mind having the old guy. He's no longer on SNL, but he used to be. I forget his name. The one that played the Uncle Reem.
James Earl.
No, James Earl Jones was the king. That died, which that was hokey too, where he looked at it and goes, "I'm going to die now." It's like,
at his own funeral that he had done beforehand.
Yeah, it's bad. That was really bad.
Well, what was really bad was my parenting on these movies. We decided that Friday night we were going to start and let the oldest see Coming to America, and it took 30 seconds in the hot tub scene. We're like, oh, yep. Can't do this. It's been a long time since we saw this movie.
Well, and here's the other one that I didn't understand either, was how in the hell do they keep bebopping back and forth between Africa and New York City like they're jumping on a subway? I mean, they would just all of a sudden go to the next scene and goes, "I've come back to America." It's like, oh, What, you didn't have to go through customs, you didn't have to get on a plane at least. I get it that you're a king, so you can afford your own plane. You never even see a plane take off. You never see any. You would think that there would be some instances at the airport, something. It was that made it even hokier. I just thought it was absolutely terrible. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for anybody, but you had a weekend to watch it. And if I am spoiling it from you and you have not watched it, I'm actually doing you quite the favor because it is absolute trash.
Oh, man, I can't argue with that. I mean, I'm not going to change your mind. You're always right.
Well, I'm wrong on some things, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on this one. I had too many people agreeing with me, and what really pissed me off were the people that are on social media telling you, "Oh, this is great," so and so's watching Coming to America. I laughed the whole time today. It's so funny, it's so great. And I sit down and I go, "Oh man, I've got some really, 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 really dumb friends. Like, what the hell am I friends with?" And so I'll never take their word for anything as far as cinema goes. There's one person in particular who never even chimed in about it. That normally chimes in about movies, and I'm surprised they didn't. And I'm surprised they didn't like it because they usually I know if that person raves about a movie, you don't watch it because it's terrible. And that person never popped up on my timeline to review. So whatever. We'll move on from that. I was just curious. You couldn't have thought it was too great when you say, I thought it was, I made it to 25 minutes until the end. That was a smart man right there.
My body knows when to take over. I mean, it kicks in. It's like, yeah, well, you tried.
You got the unfunny bone that kicks in and goes, screw this, man. We're going to sleep. This ain't worth it. I will say this in thanking that movie for coming out, because that meant that I didn't watch one lick of the NBA All-Star game. I didn't see the dunk contest. I didn't see the 3-point contest, nor the game itself. I caught one clip this morning as I was getting ready for the show that didn't look interesting to me on that. And evidently LeBron James barely played. He scored 4 points.
What is the point of the NBA All-Star game if the league itself is going to send out cease and desist orders on people that are hosting and promoters in and around Atlanta hosting parties for the All-Star game? Have you ever seen a league send cease and desist gathering orders like that? I mean, just don't put on the program if you don't want people going on. I mean, who watches the NBA All-Star game anyway?
That is a blue league kowtowing to a blue city is what it was. When they first agreed to put it in Atlanta this year, the first thing that came out was that the mayor didn't want the city, didn't want the game there. Excuse me. And so when they did that and no one stood down, they said, we're going to have it anyways. And they had fans in the stands. Atlanta didn't do anything to promote it. And, David Silver, his woke bone is going to be involved in this. So he's not going to step on anybody's toes. And I don't understand why you didn't have the thing in Florida or Texas, because those seem like the two NBA states that you could put them in there and they actually would have been a good host. I'm with you. I don't know all these restrictions that they put on it, because the game itself is going to suck. You've got to build it up around before the game and after the game. And they didn't. Normally it starts on Friday night. They'll do like the celebrity tournament game. I know that's not realistic to happen. They normally have the kids game. It's like a year 1 and year 2 players, rising stars, I think is what they call it. And so they didn't have that. Normally Saturday night is the dunk and the 3-point championship. They didn't have that. They waited until the day of the game. I think they did one pregame and one at halftime. I don't know. It didn't interest me. And then the other thing that gets me, Justin, is why in the hell are you having two of the play? And this just tells you how they kowtow to the players now. they had the two players draft their teams, right? And so instead of the way it used to be, it was East versus West, and there was some pride there that you wanted to pull for your conference. Now I'm pulling for whether it's Team LeBron or Team Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to take a baseball approach to it and make it worth home court advantage in the finals for me to find interest in it. I'm gonna date myself here. I haven't watched one. You've probably watched one more relevant, but the last time I remember watching an All-Star Weekend was Vince Carter's Jam. Last time he did a dunk contest, and I haven't seen one since. And I know that's been pushing 20 years.
I have not watched the game since, I believe it was January 2000. I believe that's the last time I watched the game. I might have caught a clip here and there. I might have caught, flipped over just to catch it real quick, but I haven't sat down and watched the game in like 20, 21 years. And the only reason why I watched it that night was I was out drinking with a buddy, and he was a big NBA fan, and he wanted to go back to the house and watch the game, and that's how we ended up watching it. I did not mean to even watch the game. I hadn't gotten into the All-Star game until Magic Johnson came back from playing after getting diagnosed with HIV. That was because it's the worst of all the All-Star games. The NFL Pro Bowl game used to be okay. Now it's just absolutely atrocious, but it used to be okay. The only All-Star game I will watch anymore is the baseball one. And them taking away the home field advantage kind of lost my interest in that one as well, because once you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And when they had something to play for, it was much more fun. I'll still watch it because it's still fun to see these guys go up against each other. But I think they screwed up taking that away. It's, you're talking about.
I'd forgotten they'd done that. Yeah, they absolutely. That takes a lot of interest of it out.
So at that point, the only thing that I can say now that I look forward to and get jazzed up about all the All-Star weekend in any of the sports is the home run derby. And that's it. Everything else is I'll watch the MLB All-Star game, but I remember last year, or not last year, the last time they had it 2 years ago, thinking, man, I like seeing this guy compete, but I don't feel like I care who wins this game now. So now what are we talking about? Because it used to be different back when you didn't have, and this is the reason why they made the home field advantage in the MLB All-Star game a thing, was because everyone lost that sense of National League and American League pride, because there's interleague
play.
Yeah, sorry. Interleague play every single day now because you got 15 in each league. So there's no real reason to even watch the damn thing.
Yeah, the lackluster is worn off of that. I mean, you remember when it first came up, we were finding trips and matchups to head down to Atlanta because I wanted to see the Yankees come into town because I'd never seen it before. But it's like you said, that happens all the time now. It's not relevant. Hopefully we'll see them add that back. Me, outside of Major League Baseball, I'm a skills competition only guy. I mean, I don't really get into the NHLs. I do like their skill competition. I like the 3-point contests. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say with the NHL, if I remember it's on, I do like watching the NHL skills competition. But it always, I don't know why, but it's not appointment television for me. And so when I always somehow end up missing and going, damn, I would have liked to have watched that.
Yeah. The 3-point shot contest would be the one that the NBA could reel me back in with. That one, to me, I like to see the shooters shoot.
If you want me to watch the dunk competition, you got to do one thing only: put the stars in there.
Yeah.
Carr and I talked about this on Friday. I was like, man, I don't care that the backup for the Atlanta Hawks can do a really nice, whirly dunk, right? I wanted to see, we never got to see, but I wanted to see what LeBron James could do in a slam dunk championship. This is a league of stars. And I told him, I said, it would be the equivalent of putting Ichiro into the home run derby. It's like, oh man, because everyone always told you that Ichiro did really well in batting practice. that's great, but because he doesn't do it in the game, I don't want to see him in a home run derby, right? And so that's why I don't know, it just falls flat, and there's nothing that they could do to get me to come back to the NFL All-Star games, because their skill competitions are usually really seem forced. At least the NHL ones are like really cool, and the home run derby is nice. And if you get stars back in, I like the 3-point competition as well. But once again, I want to see the stars in that. I want to see what can Steph Curry do, right? I don't want to see, oh, there's a sharpshooter at the end of the Oklahoma City bench that averages two minutes a game, right? I want to see a star, because it is called the All-Star game. So, anyways.
Speaking of Ichiro, did you see him get some BP this weekend with the Mariners?
I did not.
That's all I got on that. I mean, it wasn't anything more than that. He took some cracks in the cage. Don't know what that means, if that's something they're looking at or he's wanting to unretire, but something worth watching.
I think he works on some kind of level with them now, kind of like the way Chipper Jones is a part-timer. He's some kind of part-time. I think he's supposed to be some kind of liaison with with Seattle. A glorified.
That's what it was. Him and
glorified Japanese scout is what he's supposed to be.
Mike Cameron. They had to fill in for their squad game with the Dodgers this weekend. So had Ichiro in there, and they were getting those two warmed up. Remember now, because I saw them talking about it during the game later that afternoon. But it's interesting, and 2 Ichiro references on the same morning. Thought that was a good segue into that.
Yeah,
like old time's sake, seeing Suzuki in a batting cage.
Now, to that point, I wouldn't mind seeing an old timers home run derby. They ought to add that, right?
I wouldn't like. You remember we used to get on MTV the celebrity softball tournament games where they never really played. I'd like to see an all-timers game where they actually just, let's go play a game of baseball. I like your idea of the home run derby, but I'd like to see some of the legends get back out there too.
Even if they wanted to play it easy and like they used to do way back in with the Yankees, used to do old timer games. I haven't seen old timer games in years. I can't imagine you're going to see it during COVID, but I would even be okay with them doing a softball game. It's more fun than watching the celebrity softball,
right?
Because the celebrity softball, they try too hard to be funny, and it's not organic. If you have a bunch of old timers out there, they're going to be just naturally funny.
I'd like to see skippers versus veterans. I'd like to see some of the old skips get a crack at some of the players. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
get some of the younger ones, because that's a pretty diverse age range there.
Hell, I'd even like to see some of them old juiced boys. We get Bonds out there going up against Roger Clemens and see what they could do against each other.
I mean, if he ain't been abducted by aliens, throw me Canseco out there. I'd like to see it.
Oh man, they would be throwing at his ass because
that's why you got to go slow pitch softball.
He never shuts up. He did something.
He won't either when he gets a hanging softball.
He did something a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was when we were on our sabbatical, and I was like, "Oh my God, would that be a topic?" He shot his mouth off. Oh, I know what he did. He came out and said that he just randomly tweeted out for no apparent reason, Mark McGwire corked his bat every game.
Well, he makes mention, and I find that interesting you bring that up. I was watching the I can't remember the year. I think it was late 80s. The Athletics Dodgers series. Is that late 80s or early 90s? I believe it was late 80s. 88, 89, somewhere in that range.
A's Dodgers was 88.
Okay. Talking about that series, him being young and McGwire and what they were and weren't doing. They were showing the replays, I guess, going into spring training, just getting everybody hype of celebrating the Dodgers World Series championship. And the last one they claimed, but he says some interesting things in there that he hints about. He doesn't full blown say that they had cork bats or that they were shooting up, but pretty interesting. It's on MLB Network if you get a chance to watch it or bored right now. I think they're redoing all them if you have MLB TV during spring training right now to get you to entice and pay up. So if you get a chance, watch that on the Dodgers Athletics. Pretty interesting stuff by Canseco there.
Okay. I'll try to check it out. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some bracketology and get into some spring training baseball. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here to CBS Sports Radio.
You're very lucky that you're with somebody as resilient as Frank Reynolds.
You tried to off yourself 2 times in the last 24 hours, Frank.
Here in St. Augustine, Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms. They buy and sell used guns. Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. The friendly gun shop, a proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterbacks. ACC football covered like no other here on the Armchair Quarterback.
Against the blitz, touchdown, Florida State. Preston scores the touchdown, and now it's Bowden's decision, and he sends Mowry onto the field right away. Danny Cannell is the holder. Mowry ties it. This game is over. A 31-31 tie. A 31-31 tie. A deep throw by Lawrence, a lot of contact.
Justin Ross broke free from it. He's down in the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson.
Justin Ross, a freshman wide receiver, big, rangy, and Trevor Lawrence knows, throw it up against that single coverage, give him a chance to make a play on a 50-50 ball.
If you're a fan of the ACC, pull up an armchair. You're home.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grab it out there. Nobody tackle. Just grab it, everybody. Grab. Nobody tackle.
You're riding morning shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays. Your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar. You can listen with your whole family. You are.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Geico knows there are many reasons why you ride. From the exciting adventure of the daily commute to the peace of mind that Geico always has your back with 24/7 access to claim service and legendary customer service. But Pamela Mund had one reason in particular.
My skin is extremely averse to most fabrics, except for the soft, buttery feeling of leather. Thankfully, I found my clan of leather lovers in the biking community. It's been life-changing.
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
We're crab people now.
We're crab people now?
Yes.
Good morning, CBS Sports Radio. Right here with the Armchair Quarterbacks, Justin Waller and Mac McGee, taking you all the way to the top of the hour. Doug, Red Raider Doug will join us at the top of the hour. We're going to talk some fantasy baseball. We'll be talking fantasy baseball tomorrow as well with Stephen Troche here. Justin, I'm going to start up a fantasy baseball mock draft here in a little bit before you jump off. I thought we could have some fun with the first round or so. I know you'll have to. What the hell is that? All right, that's the remix. with college basketball this past weekend. So Florida gets a big win. Tennessee gets a big win over Florida. Did you get a chance to watch much of that game? I watched the majority of it.
I saw parts of it, and I saw I saw the best and the worst part. The worst part being the opening start of the game, and then I had to dip out for a little bit and caught the tail end of the game. So watched Florida stretch it out and kind of put it on Tennessee a little bit, and then finally Fulkerson and Pons took over and brought that veteran leadership that this team is going to have a deep run, and they pulled it off, had the comeback, ended up stretching it out, and I think they secured the 4th seed in the SEC tournament. That's a double bye. They'll play Friday, so looking good for them there. And if you're looking at the tournaments this morning, I was just looking off ESPN that got them as a 6th seed, and I find it interesting enough. It's got them in the same region as Florida State, so hopefully for me and you, those two can match long enough to play each other. That would be nice to see.
Yeah, Florida State won. Florida State took one on the chin. They played terrible against Notre Dame. I felt like they played tight. I watched that game Saturday morning, and they were never really in that ball game. They made a late run to get it back close, but they were down by, 17 at the half, 16, 17 points at the half. And to be honest with you, that entire game, you just never got a sense that they could get any kind of rhythm going. So that hurt because Florida State would have won the ACC title. They lost. Virginia won their game, so that made Virginia the ACC champion. So, look, they've got no one to blame but themselves when you get a sloppy loss at Notre Dame. And, of course, remember, they've got a couple of other games earlier in the season when they were still trying to find their way that they dropped. So, I can't complain because Florida State played terrible. I would like to see them play a little better this weekend. I don't really care if they win the ACC tournament. It would be a cool thing, but usually if you win that thing, you can also wear yourself out. But all of the conference tournaments are set. With Tennessee on that 6th line, I think they have an opportunity to actually go up in the NCAA tournament if they play well in the SEC championship. And the SEC championship is set for Wednesday, I believe. Today's the 8th. Yeah, Wednesday.
Yes, it starts Wednesday.
So they'll play the championship on Sunday, and the ACC is starting their tournament tomorrow, and they will play their championship 8 o'clock or 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Saturday night. So there you have that. Well, I'll pull up the actual matchups here in 1 second. But some of the other big things that happened, first of all, yesterday, Michigan State beat Michigan. That was big for Michigan State because they are on the bubble. The most recently updated, which was Saturday evening. So I don't think he'll update it again until right before the tournaments start on Tuesday or Wednesday. But Lenardi had Michigan State as the last four in, one of the last four in, getting a win against the number 2 Michigan Wolverines. And of course, Michigan won the regular season Big Ten. That's a big feather in their cap, especially they played them earlier in the week and gotten absolutely trounced. So that's a big W for Michigan State. Baylor continues to solidify their number 1 seed. They absolutely pound Texas Tech. And I don't think there's much that could get a Baylor out of the NCAA 1 seed. No matter what they do in the Big 12 conference tournament, other than maybe losing the first round, I don't think it's really going to affect their seeding.
I know they get a pass on the Illinois loss, Michigan, but does losing to a bubble team threaten their number 1 at all?
Who's that?
Michigan.
I don't believe so unless they were to get – if they got knocked out in the Big Ten tournament, let's say if they got beat in the first round, and then a team like I mean, you've got Iowa and Illinois making a case for themselves as well. So Michigan's going to have a decent showing in that Big Ten championship. I think if Michigan gets to the semifinals of the Big Ten championship or tournament, I think that gets them the 1 seed, because the fact that they won the regular season and they now only have 3 losses, they're 19-3 on the season. I think that has to speak volumes, don't you? As opposed to just, a random tournament where there are no off days. I think you have to take the entire body of work into consideration.
Yeah, unless they get bounced early. I mean, I give you a pass on the Illinois game, and you just played your rival, in-state rival, twice within a week. You boat raced them the first time, and it was a competitive game. The second one, they won it, no big deal. But I don't think it's enough to knock you out of the 1 seed. But if they flop out of the tournament and don't right the ship, or for some reason 2 losses in a week gets in the head, then you compound that into a third. I think it's a possibility they could come as a 2 seed.
By the way, Gonzaga plays tonight in their semifinals, the West Coast Conference tournament. They're doing their semifinals tonight, 9:00. Gonzaga plays St. Mary's, and St. Mary's has given them a hard time in the past. So the other game is BYU versus Pepperdine. If BYU beats Pepperdine, plays Gonzaga, that could be a fun final. Sneaky good. BYU's 19-5 on the season. They haven't got a lot of pub. They're not ranked, but 19-5 is still 19-5 in my book. I mean, doesn't really matter who you play. You're definitely not a slouch if you're 19-5. Some of the other games that'll be going on. Let's see if there's anything really interesting. The Sun Belt Championship is tonight. So there is a championship that is at 7:00, Georgia State versus App State, and the Southern Conference Championship final. That's at 7:00 on ESPN. When it comes to these smaller conference tournaments, I try to check out the championship game because I love seeing the teams clinch and they rush the court and all that. Also the CAA championship. No, I'm sorry, that's the semifinals, so that doesn't matter. But that's what you have going on today. Tomorrow is when you've got the ACC tournament starting. Miami and Pittsburgh leads it all off in the Power 5 tournaments. That'll start at 2:00 tomorrow afternoon. Duke is playing on day 1, which they don't normally do. They play Boston College. They should smoke them. Wake Forest, Notre Dame. I think there's another ACC game, but I don't see it on here. And MTSU starts their conference tournament tomorrow. Woo! They're 5-17 on the year. That's terrible. I haven't even paid attention to them. That's about the only good thing that came out of coming to America was the fact that Middle Tennessee State was mentioned because they were playing with St. John's or something that night. I thought it would have been a lot better if they had Kevin Hart play Eddie Murphy's son. That would have been some funny stuff.
That would have been a good one.
They said the guy that played his son was a comedian, but I was like, he's not funny. Like there's not a funny bone in this guy's body. And he was on that terrible show that made it. I didn't even know it made it 34 episodes because it was so bad. I didn't even watch it because I remember seeing the clips of it. It was terrible. Something Donuts. I don't know. It was a sitcom about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was Superior Donuts, something like that. It was dumb. Very
heard of it.
It was like on CBS, but you'd always see it. Whatever channel it came on, it was always. They were always running the advertisements on the channel of a show that I watched. It was like Big Bang Theory. We'd go to break and you go, watch Superior Donuts Tuesday. And it was like, oh God, no, thank you. Trying to pull up. See, you said Tennessee doesn't start till Friday. Yeah.
I believe Friday at 1 is when that. Yeah.
2 Eastern. There's a Alabama is going to be playing at noon Eastern. So there you have that. I'd say Florida State's probably starting on Thursday, but I don't know if they have 2 days, 2-day bye or not. That could be oh yeah, there it is. Thursday at 6:30 is when Florida State starts play. That's not too terrible to have to win 3 games to win your conference tournament. I'm so used to the old days where Florida State was always playing on that first day. Like, you got to win 5 games in a row. There's just never going to happen in the ACC tournament. Anyways, switching gears a little bit, Major League Baseball. Did you get a chance to catch any of the Braves game yesterday? It was on Nesson.
I did not. Missed out on yesterday's. Just saw the highlights.
Charlie Morton in the saddle for the first time.
Looked pretty good. Or his stat sheet looked like he did. Looks like Dansby had a big monster RBI double. So it looks like some things are waking up, and I am noticing a lot of small ball out of this offense. And I know the home runs will come, but this is a team that live and died by them. So it's nice to see them just making contact so early in the spring and hitting gaps. That usually bodes well to a fast start.
Yeah, Morton, 3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, gave up 2 hits. He looked pretty good especially for a first outing in spring training. By the way, there is news on Mike Soroka. They hope to have him have 1, possibly even 2 spring training starts before spring training comes to an end, and that would set him up to come back sometime in late April, maybe early May. So got good news on that front. Man, once again, I got hit hard. And I just don't think this guy's going to make the 26-man roster. His stat line doesn't even do it justice, because if you watch that game, man, he was just getting roasted. He just does not look like someone. And I'll tell you something else. Victor Areno, that they had come in the last inning, and this was his spring debut. He had 1 inning pitch and 1 strikeout, and that sounds great. But you watch him pitch, I don't think he's going to make the team. He pitched for the Phillies last year and got knocked out pretty early in the season. I think he only pitched like 8 innings. He got hit by a line drive, and the rest was history, right? So I don't know if his delivery's always been this way, Justin, because he hasn't played for Atlanta before. I never really pay attention. But when he pitches, he's bailing out and like kind of drifting off to the first base side. He's a right-hander. And what I saw of that makes me nervous if he comes into a real game, because I don't know if that's him worried about getting hit by a line drive and he's changed his delivery, or if that's just the way he's always thrown. But he had to have thrown at least 4 to 5 pitches in the dirt. They bounced at the plate. And that's not something. Look, I get it's the first day of spring training for him, but man, you're bouncing. It's one thing to do 1 or 2, but it was consistent. And I'm just a little concerned about him when there's hopes that he can make the everyday roster. And for that matter, Carl Edwards, he didn't have a terrible outing, but he doesn't look like he has the kind of stuff that's going to make the roster. He looks very hittable, is the best way I can put it.
Yeah, he's not looking all Trevor Bauerish. Did you see what that knucklehead did this weekend?
Yeah, he threw he struck a guy out like closing one eye?
Yeah, he threw the whole first inning with his right eye closed. He says it's a training technique he uses to make himself uncomfortable. And then he quotes and says, I figured if they can't score off me with one eye open, it's going to be difficult to score on me with 2 open. I'm like, way to go, Trevor. Way to go. Stoke that fire, baby.
I wish I would have saved the tweets. Someone tweeted out something to the effect of, the fact that this isn't getting more publicity is really a shame. It's not that you should be impressed that Trevor Bauer struck someone out with one eye open. It's the fact that it shows that more and more every day that Trevor Bauer is just a jackass. It's like that's kind of, I hate to say it, but that's on point. You know what's so funny? They had him interviewed.
Maybe that's why I like him so much. I mean, I really think it's awesome.
They had him interviewed in a game recently. The Dodgers were playing someone, and he was being interviewed. He wasn't at the game. He was like in a Zoom room or whatever. And he was making a big deal about how his agent is a female and how, everything, how they can do everything a man could do. And I'm like, what? And it's like, of course it's an agent. It's like, what the hell is that a big deal about? But there's an underlying story here, because there's a huge belief that Bauer and his agent had some kind of a, if nothing else, friends with benefit kind of relationship. And so she's been put on trial by social media about it. Of course, she's denied it, and I'm appalled and all this stuff. But then there's all these pictures that leaked out of the two of them like in a hot tub, and it's really, really bawdy pictures. And I'm like, if you want someone to take you serious in your profession, it cannot be assumed that this is how you got your client.
Was it like a Matt Leinart hotel photos, or
I don't know if I saw Matt Leinert's photos, but
back after USC Arizona Cardinal days? I don't know. That's been a minute.
There's one picture where they basically, they've been, got entangled and became one, right? Yeah. There's another one.
They sound similar.
Right. There's another one where she's like basically sitting on his shoulders and they're playfully at a beach or whatever. But these are not pictures of colleagues. These are not pictures that one takes with their agent. I doubt Drew Rosenhaus has these kind of pictures of him and, Bryce Harper. You know what I mean? Like, they're not professional looking pictures. They look like a couple on a honeymoon. And that's fine. But don't try to BS us and tell us that he wants her to be taken so seriously by his statements, right? But if she wants to be taken seriously, you can't be half naked with your client. Because when you're half naked with your client, your term's not agent. Your title is madam. I hate to say it, but I mean, it looked like freaking Dolly Parton and Burt Reynolds, the best.
Or Sean, when I need him, all I can think of is virtual prom.
There were some pictures there where they're all snuzzled together and you can't see anybody's hands, so you don't know what's going on there. It's like, man, I don't know, man. Like, there were a couple that were to the point where even if you were dating the person, I don't know if you would put that picture on Facebook.
Well, was he training with one eye open or not?
He was training to do something with one eye open. One-eyed monster.
All right.
Here we go.
Sorry, dude. We just got us kicked off the show.
Well, it happens. By the way, with the queue set up, I put us down to the 10th pick in the drafts, in the mock drafts. So we'll see what's going on there.
Rules set up like our league, pitching the predominance.
Well, this one's probably set up like it's a mock draft. So it's probably
you're just doing a normal league. Okay,
it's probably just categories, but our point system has not changed. By the way, and I found this interesting because I did not know it until Saturday or Sunday whenever I came across it. Did you see that they're changing the days of the week for the NCAA tournament?
No, I
So
missed
you know how normally you have Selection Sunday, which is this coming Sunday, and then you have Tuesday and Wednesday would be the playing games, right? And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be your first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournaments, first 2 real rounds, right?
So you're down to 16 after that first weekend, correct?
Right.
Okay.
This year, they're doing all the playing games on Thursday, not Tuesday or not Wednesday, but Thursday. And they're not going to start the tournament until Friday. So it's going to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's going to wrap around.
I kind of like it.
And then, well, I don't like it for this reason. You're going to jam a lot of games on Monday night. See, normally Sunday, it's staggered through, and you've got quite a few games. So now I don't know if they're going to have some on Monday during the day. And people like us who work from home usually might be able to catch it. But what about Joe Sixpack who, going to work? That's going to be a day that you miss realistically. So I haven't seen how the timeline is going to be set up for Monday. But then it's not going to be played again until the following Saturday. And it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I don't like that at all. If you're going to wrap it around like that, why can't we just go to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday again? No, we're going to have all the way till, because I'm so used to that weekend being, by the way, real quick, these are the guys available. I say we draft Freddie Freeman just because we're about to run out of time. And
yeah, I mean, you ain't got to twist my arm.
Damn it. We got auto drafted on the pick before that because I was talking. I didn't see it. So we got Yelich and Freddie Freeman so far. Your boy Trevor Bauer could have been had if we didn't have Yelich, but is what it is. So, yeah, so then it's going to go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then once that is over, that'll be the Sweet 16 into the Grade 8. Once that is over with, then we will go to the normal Saturday championship, Final Four, and then Monday, but I don't like the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't hate the wraparound Friday to Monday, but I don't like the fact that we don't have games on Friday night because remember, this is before Major League Baseball opens up. So if opening day for Major League Baseball was going on, I really wouldn't care. I'd be like, that's cool. But they have the chance to have the stage all to themselves. I don't understand why they're doing that, especially since they're all going to be in the same area.
Well, that might be what it is. They just don't have the availability to have all the venues that one night, so they had to slide them. Since you are doing it all in one area, you're going to need 4 arenas at one time.
Yeah, but you're still doing the same amount of days, so that doesn't track.
Well, how do you know it's a school or one of the venues they're using didn't have a prior arrangement on that date? That's why they slid it. That's what I'm saying. There's got to be something logistically in Indianapolis that's keeping it from happening. It makes no sense to slide them other than that.
I think they're doing it some reason because they feel like they need more days to get them ready through COVID testing, et cetera, et cetera. I also think they might be doing it just to try to experiment with. I think it's dumb though, because I really think you want the Thursday night television and you want and the Friday to me is better than having someone on Tuesday. It's coming back to us. We got Yelich, we've got Freddie Freeman. And so here are the guys here are the top guys left. Anthony Rendon, Bregman, Clayton Kershaw, Rafael Devers. It's pretty much hit city at this place.
Kershaw, the best arm available.
If not, then you go Luis Castillo, and then much further down. Well, they auto drafted me because we talked too long. Who they gave us? They gave us Rendon. So now we have to go either Bregman, Kershaw.
Get an arm.
Okay, so we'll go and get Kershaw. I know he's got some injury problems, but I didn't see Woodruff was on there. Damn it. Okay. But that's okay. So right now we've got Freeman, Rendon, Yelich, and Kershaw. This is a 10-man draft.
I'm liking the bats so far.
Yeah. Hopefully, like in this scenario, if Yelich comes back and does what he's done in the past, last year was a terrible year for him, but if he comes back and has a normal year, I really like his situation.
I think you'll see a lot of that this season. People.
The one thing I do like. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I'm just saying 2020 is going to misalign a lot of people's values on fantasy baseball, which, I mean, good for me. I don't care if you want to knock Christian Yelich because you don't think he's going to perform, then let him drop on down. I'm not sure that me and you would have auto-drafted him where he got auto-drafted for us, but as part of the team, I welcome it.
If what I was looking at was correct, the one thing I do like that I thought that they needed to do this well before this with the NCAA tournament is we don't need 2 nights of Bobo games, right? Put them all into one game. I mean, into one night. So in other words, give us 4 games that first night and not freaking, 2 here and 2, because usually that first game is absolutely atrocious. It's 2 teams that would normally have been like 16 seeds. There's that part I do like is the fact that they're putting it all together.
I'm just excited that we're having the dad blame thing this year.
I just wish with that Thursday and Friday night with nothing being on, I just wish that there was either Major League Baseball or the Masters going on, like something. But that's what I always loved about the NCAA tournament is that it started on that Thursday and you got rolling. But I guess you'll have the NIT tournament or something to keep up with. But the bold move, Cotton. I just, for years and years and years where we're used to Thursday through Saturday, and now you're putting it Saturday through Tuesday in the second round. It's just, I don't know. It's strange. I know you got to run here in a second. Let me see. We've got 2 picks till our turn, so we will do that first. And
is Woodruff still sitting there? I doubt it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I figure he would.
Let me see what we got here. Vlad is still there. As far as pitchers, you got Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and it is now our turn to pick. So you got Vlad, Eloy Jimenez, Javier Baez, Rosareno, and then Snell, Glasnow. Who do you like?
I'd rather have Glasnow than Snellzilla.
There's also Strasburg down there.
Oh. I mean, it's fantasy roster. I'll take Strasburg.
Okay. And then we get another pick. Do you want to go pitching or do you want to go back to hitting? We got 2 starters and we've got a first, third, and an outfielder.
What's second and short available? Best available middle infielder?
Javier Baez is still there. Gleyber Torres.
Anybody that's not a Cub? Torres.
We got like 3 seconds.
Baez. Take him.
All right. What's your walk-off for the day, sir?
Well, it was going to be Trevor Bauer and his rubbing the fuel of the Padres and the Dodgers, and just, man, I cannot wait for baseball season. It is going to be amazing. We've always talked about Giants-Dodgers rivalry, and I think this year we're going to see some epic Dodgers-Padres, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope he pours gas all over that fire.
Yeah, I find it funny that Dave Roberts keeps downplaying it. He keeps saying this isn't a rivalry. This is a rivalry. I hope San Diego goes out there and sweeps them the first two series. Is it a rivalry now? You know what I mean?
I hope the Padres are up by 5 and Tatis hits a grand slam every time he comes to the plate against nobodies. And I mean, I hope they just rack them up. I want to see full blown rivalry.
I'm tired of the bat flip. I want to see someone getting creative. If you're going to do something, I want to see an actual flip. To heck with a bat flip. Give me a back flip. Do something.
As long as it's not Walker Buehler pitching, because damn, them pants will rip, and I don't want to see that. Maybe Bauer could get my boy. Maybe he'll be the guy to ruffle his feathers and get him a bigger pant size.
All right, brother. We'll see you mañana. Have a good one.
See you, sir.
We'll be back in a flash with the Armchair Quarterbacks. Red Ritter Doug is on the way.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. We had some big games in college hoops on Sunday. The Michigan State Spartans got their revenge on the Michigan Wolverines, ranked #2 in the country. They take down Big Blue 70-64. Henry had 18 points, with Hauser finishing with 11 and Watts 21 points off the bench. The win keeps the Michigan State Spartans on the right side of the NCAA bubble. Updated Saturday night from Lenardi and ESPN, Michigan State is currently on the last four in line. A win against a #2 team and conference champion should all but seal the deal. The #3 Baylor Bears rolled over Texas Tech 88-73. Iowa 77-73 winners over the #25 Wisconsin Badgers. And Memphis took one on the chin as they're on the bubble. They lose 67-64 to #9 Houston. Southeastern Conference action had the Tennessee Volunteers upending the Florida Gators 65-54. Fulkerson, Johnson, and Bailey all had 14 points for the Vols. That should improve Tennessee from their 6th line currently, and Florida at the 9 is bound to slide depending on the SEC tournament. On Saturday, the San Francisco Giants signed Jose Alvarez to a 1-year deal. Alvarez only pitched 8 innings in 2020 after being struck by a line drive, but had a 1.42 ERA with the Phillies. The 1-year deal, worth $1.15 million, has a club option for the veteran reliever in 2022. Also on Saturday, right-hander Jake Odorizzi and the Houston Astros have agreed to a 2-year deal with the player option for 2023. The Astros, who lost Framber Valdez for an indefinite period of time, also are missing Justin Verlander, who is likely to miss the entire season. Odorizzi was the top free agent left out on the market. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
You're so going to end up in porno.
Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. They are a Glock Blue Label dealer for military and first responders. So stop on by at Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. The Friendly Gun Shop, proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterback.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays. Drive time? Find the Armchair Quarterback Show on Facebook today.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines 2 of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infidium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
You're talking about a bunch of unproven kids who were in the prom. You know, literally they were in the prom like 6 months ago at their high school.
No, they weren't because they were in
lockdown.
Exactly.
Okay, they were at a
These are promless teenagers.
If he's from a Big Ten state,
they were at
if he's from a Big Ten state, he didn't have prom. I can guarantee you that.
They were at a virtual prom. Anyway, so yeah, it's tough for Wisconsin.
That's called porn. That's called porn.
Stop it. They get a break this week because I got a mess to clean up, guys. Yeah.
Virtual prom.
There's my walk off for the day. Thanks, Mac. I gotta dry my keyboard out now.
Armchair.
seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for any sports fan, or just looking to add some stuff to your own man cave? Then head on in to MVP Collectibles at the St. Augustine Outlets Mall. They carry Seminoles, Gators, Bulldogs, Canes, Longhorns, Bama, Buckeyes, Wolverines, Vols, you name it. They have Patriots, Jaguars, Titans, Dolphins, Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Chiefs, whoever you're looking for. Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals, Braves, whoever you like. The best selection you'll ever find for the sports fan that thinks they have it all. That's MVP Collectibles in the St. Augustine Outlets Mall, Suite 245, right across from the food court in the St. Augustine Outlets Mall. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6. Get your man cave popping today at MVP Collectibles.
You threw my sandwich away. My sandwich? My sandwich?
Cause the stars and stripes are so much more than that old piece of cloth on your grandma's porch. It gave us that American dream.
Good morning.
Anything that we want to be.
Welcome back here to CBS Sports Radio, as we've got Red Raider Doug with us today. Doug, how the hell are you, sir?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. I got us enrolled into a mock draft. The one that Justin and I did kind of went haywire because I got sidetracked and wasn't paying attention to the screen, so I got us into another one. We're going to have the number 1 pick overall. This thing went a lot faster than I expected it to. It went into the last one I did, went into auto draft really quickly. I don't know how this one will go, but we'll see how many actual rounds we get in. I plan on doing this with you every week until beginning of the season. Number 1 pick, who are we going with? I'm going to give you the lot of the lid. Doug, you there?
Yeah.
Number 1 pick, who are we going with?
I'm going with Mookie Betts as my number 1 pick.
Okay. So that's where we'll go with. So speaking of that, we're also going to be talking the fantasy baseball. We're going to do the fantasy baseball rankings, and we're going to talk outfielders today. Next week, see, we've got 2 more weeks until we do our draft. So we did catchers last week, right? If memory serves correct.
I think so, yes.
So next week we'll do the left side of the diamond, shortstops and third baseman. Oh, wait a minute. That's going to get tricky. Next week, let's do pitching, and then we'll try to figure out what we'll do that final week.
All right.
So number 1 pick, I'm going to go ahead and put Mookie Betts down for us in case I get distracted, because they have like a minute 30 before this thing actually ends. All right. So with the fantasy baseball rankings, and we're talking about outfielders, you've got Mookie Betts as your number 1 guy. Mm-hmm. Depending on the league, I still think Mike Trout is the guy to beat, because when he's healthy and when he's playing, the guy's still the best player in baseball. So that's who I would tend to go with. If I had a number 2, that's where I would get really stuck, because, and this is in a one and done league. I'm not talking about any scenario where we're talking about, keepers or anything like that. If it's a one and done league, I think I probably would go Betts. The question after that is, would you go Acuna or would you go Soto or even Yelich? Because that is such a tough one. I think Soto's the better hitter right now.
Yeah, overall. But one thing I always rewarded is consistency, and that's why, based on where they were last year to where I think they will be this year, the tiebreaker kind of, to me, goes to Juan Soto. And that tiebreaker is consistency. because that's one thing with my top 3 players that they all have in common. In a 60-game sprint last year, their numbers were still on pace to be as good as they were in a non-COVID 2019, especially Mookie Betts. That's why I put Mookie Betts at number 1.
And see, here's the thing. If it was a category league where you're trying to get every category, then I've got to rank Acuna up higher because he's going to get you stolen bases, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not a category league, if it's a straight up points league, I think Acuna is going to fall short of Soto because Soto is going to have a higher batting average.
Yes.
Soto's also, in my opinion, going to have more RBI.
Mm-hmm.
Because projected 95 RBI for him, 112 for Soto. And then a lot of that's got to do with the fact that Acuna is going to be the leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
Soto normally hits third, so I wouldn't think that's going to change. I also think they'll probably put Trey Turner somewhere either in front of him, which gets a guy on base for him, or behind him, which means you got to pitch to him. So either way, you gain in that respect. So yeah, the draft has now officially started, and we've got Mookie Betts starting off here. So try to please remember that we did the first pick. So next week I don't do that to us again. Next week I'll pick us much deeper in the draft.
Okay.
A lot of times I have to text Doug because I forget what the hell we did or what the hell we're talking about. Every day is a different compartment in my head, and I'm like, I don't remember. Did I talk with Steven, or was it with Doug? Like, what the hell was it? If you get past that, and let's get down to, I think Yelich is pretty much everyone's number 5. My curiosity here is this. I would lop these 3 guys together. Bellinger, Harper, Jimenez, maybe even Ozuna, maybe even Kyle Tucker, George Springer. How do you have those guys ranked?
Well, you lump those. I put at that kind of that top of that heap. I put Cody Bellinger on top of that group you just mentioned. Same reason with Mookie Betts. Again, when you do fantasy stuff, you have to compare what they did last season, what they did this season. And Bellinger.
What do you expect from Bryce Harper this year?
I never, to be honest with you, I hate the guy. I don't like him. And if I don't have to pick him, I won't pick him. I'm just stuck in my ways with that. So if I've got a chance to take Bellinger before Harper, I will every time. I'll take anyone in that lot except for Harper. I have a thing about him. I don't like him. And I don't pick him if I don't have to.
They're projecting Harper at 35 and 99, respectively, and Bellinger at 30 and 83.
Yeah.
I think Bellinger's being underrated, especially in that lineup, man.
Yeah.
God, he should rake.
Yeah.
He should absolutely rake. A couple of years ago, we were wondering if he might be the best hitter in the National League. By the way, our pick is coming up. Best guys on the board right now: Story, Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Harper, Bellinger, Lucas Giolito. It is now our pick. Who are we going with?
Well, I have to stay consistent. I'm going Bellinger.
You want Bellinger. Okay. Where's he at? Oh, wait. Did he just he just got drafted.
Oh,
we got 8.
Then I'll take Lindor.
Okay. So we got Lindor and Betts, and now we've got another pick. Do you go pitching with Giolito or Aaron Nola or Scherzer or Flaherty, or do you go hitting?
Let me see. We're in the 3rd round now?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead since he's there. I'll go ahead and that's hard.
Harper, Jose Ramirez, Trevor Story.
Oh, I got to take him right here. I'll go ahead and take Trevor Story just because of his value.
Okay. Luckily, we got auto picked that because you took so long.
Sorry.
So right now we've got Mookie Betts, Lindor, and Story. We'll go ahead and load some up in our queue, guys that would realistically still be there when we draft again. Okay, moving on from that, who else do you like in the outfielders?
Well, I'll tell you one player too. I mean, we just got done talking about him. We got Soto and Bellinger, but there's somebody who may be outside the top 5, maybe even not even ranked in top 10, who I personally like, who I think is going to have even a bigger breakout season than he did last time, is Mike Yastrzemski. It's like a sleeper pick, if you will.
Well, he better not sleep for too long. He's 31 years old. He'll be 32 later on. So I was looking that up this past off season because I was wondering, for some reason in my head, he was much younger. I guess because it just took him so long to come onto the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Dude is 31 years old. I thought he was like 20 in his mid-20s.
Yeah, I thought he was young too, but I still like him. I mean, he had a great last season. That's I know 60 games is not a great sprint, a great sprint. What
do you expect from guys like Aaron Judge this year?
About the same as last year. I mean, and I think he'll spend about third of the season injured. I mean, his half the time he was on one of my teams last year, and I swear he spent half the season on the bench in the hospital. Something was wrong with him all the time.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that concerns me. If he stays healthy, the guy's phenomenal, but he does make me worry about that. Our pick is coming up again, by the way. And so you got Mondesi, Rendon, Bogarts, Bregman, Albies, and pitchers. You've got Brendan Woodruff and Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow. It's our turn to pick. Where are we going?
We'll go ahead and take Blake Snell, get a pitcher on the board.
So go down and grab him. Little bit of a reach, but I do think he's going to have a good year. And that's our time to pick again. Mondesi, Rendon, Bregman, Bogarts. Bogarts is still hurt. I'm a little worried about how he's going to be this year. We got like 6 seconds to pick. Where are we going?
Go with Rendon.
Rendon, okay. So it's pretty good infield so far. We got Rendon and Lindor. Of course, we got Story, but we'll put him at the DH. Betts is our outfielder. We only have one pitcher, so I'd say when it comes back up, we need to get at least one pitcher, depending on what's left, unless there's like a run going on him. Woodruff is still there, but I doubt he'll be there when we draft. We see other starting pitchers that we might be able to hone in on. Glasnow, Steven Strasburg, Zach Gallen, Kenta Maeda, Corbin Burns, Lance Lynn. So that's essentially what we're looking at going forward with that. Okay. Let's see. Real Muto is still available, by the way. We'll see if he's still there it's all said and done, but he's still there. He's the best catcher. And we are in the 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll be in the 6th round, which is about where he tends to go, but we'll see. There's some guys like Ozzie Albies and Luis Robert, Starling Marte, Tim Anderson. All those guys are still there. Vladimir Guerrero, by the way, I keep seeing people bragging about Vladimir Guerrero losing 40 pounds in the offseason. First of all, it looks like he lost more, about like 15, 20 tops. He does not look that svelte. They keep making like he just looks so great. He's like, just looks outstanding. How long is it going to take for him to put that back on? It'll be like 3 weeks into the season where he's coming home from the games, getting in the hotel, eating the cheesesteaks and whatnot. I'm not a believer that he's going to keep those LBs off. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good hitter, but that can't be your reasoning for elevating him in a draft just because you see he's lost a few pounds going into spring training. Because anytime there's a guy that fights with that, they always lose that battle. Pablo Sandoval, Prince Fielder, you name it. Anytime there's a fat guy in baseball, that fat guy never keeps it off. I don't ever remember a David Wells all of a sudden looking slim and trim like a Madison Bumgarner and staying that way the rest of their career.
No.
They always put the belly back on.
Yep.
About time for our pick again. Glasnow and Strasburg are okay. So Strasburg's available or Glasnow. Which one are we going with?
I'm going to go with Glasnow.
Okay. And then after that, the best hitters. If we want to go back to hitters, we got Marte, Anderson, Kyle Tucker, Aaron Judge, Baez, Arozarena, Alvarez, your boy Suarez at third base, although we already have a third baseman. JT Real Muto still there.
Wow. That's a hard pick because that would be a
come on. Where are we going?
Oh, go Real Malta then. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way.
All right, so we got Real Multo, we've got Rendon, Lindor, Betts, Story, and then we got Snell and Glasnow as our pitching keeps rolling along here. Let's say next round, if there's elite pitching, we'll pick it up. If not, maybe we go towards a or if there's any good relievers still out there.
Well, there should be elite. Nobody in their right mind should be picking up relief pitchers until at least what are we in the 8th, 9th round now?
They're gone. There's a lot of them are gone. The best one right now is Edwin Diaz. The Iglesias of Los Angeles. Chapman just got drafted.
That's weird.
Well, a lot of these are auto drafts, although I do see a lot of actual non-auto drafts on here.
Yeah,
Art coming up again really fast. Do we want to go reliever this early?
No, I want to wait on a reliever.
Okay, it's almost time for us to pick. Strasburg is still there, by the way. For some reason, he's Strasburg, Carrasco. Jose Barrios is ranked under Carrasco.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's been hyped all off season that Carrasco's just going to have this banner season. So I'm not surprised.
Okay, so we've got Barrios, Hendricks, Greinke, Carrasco, Maeda. Where are we going?
I'm going to go with the hype. Let's go ahead and take Carrasco.
Okay. And then we got another pick. So I'd say we go hitters here. Arozarena, Voit, Anthony Rizzo. I say we ride the wave of Arozarena and see. Let's see.
All right.
So now we've got 2 outfielders. We've got half our infield filled up. We got our catcher. We've got 3 starting pitchers. We still don't have a reliever. We should probably grab a reliever on the next go around.
Okay.
I'm not a believer in Edwin Diaz. I'm just not. Man, where are the projected saves here? Okay, here we go. Rosenthal, Brad Hand, Iglesias, Presley, Archie Bradley, Edwin Diaz. Any of them jumping out at you?
Iglesias, because he's got a new home, and I kind of project I think he'll do better than he did last year. I just like the ballpark that he pitches in, I guess.
And then we need a first baseman, or we go second base. First base, you got Rizzo, you've got Brandon Lau, Matt Olson, Will Meyer, Max Muncy, Reese Hoskins, Alec Boehm. Let's see who we got at second base who's still available. Someone just drafted Gleyber Torres. That sucks. Keston Hiura from Milwaukee. Marte, Altuve still there. We should probably go second base.
Okay.
Calvin Biggio's still there. It's coming up here. If we get one of these second basemen, whether it's Altuve, Marte, or Hiora, we can either go outfield again or we can go reliever. I guess we need to go reliever, don't we?
Yeah.
Technically, Carrasco can be used as a reliever too in this setup, but in a traditional league, that doesn't do a whole of a lot of good.
No. Next pick, let's take Altuve because I actually pronounced his name correctly.
At least he's got freaking drafted. Are you kidding me?
Oh, right. That's what I get for pronouncing his name correctly on the first try.
Jose Barrios is still there. Are you kidding me?
That's interesting. That's tempting.
All right, well, let's grab him, and then we'll grab Altuve, and we'll worry about a reliever when we come back around. We still don't have a first baseman and an outfielder.
Okay.
We don't have a true reliever, so we probably need to focus on relievers when it comes back. But if it's a bunch of garbage, then Diaz and Brad Hand are still there.
Okay. I would take Brad Hand over Diaz anyway.
So we'll see where that is. Okay, so back to where we were talking about outfielders. You got some sleepers, some busts.
Another sleeper, the guy I played with last year, who I thought had kind of a breakout season, Kyle Tucker. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
he's somebody.
Nine overall.
And that's just because he got noticed last season. I mean, 2 years ago, nobody would care about him, and I put him on my team, and he played really well. So I'm just saying, anybody, if you're in a draft and nobody takes him, grab him as soon as you can, because I think he's going to have a really good season this year.
I'm really interested to see what Marcell Ozuna does his second year in Atlanta. He came on by storm, and if you project his numbers out,
Marcell
Ozuna would have hit about 40 home runs last year. I just don't know if I buy that that's what Marcell Ozuna is going to do, and he's being ranked up around the top 10. I think that's a bit of a reach. Marcell Ozuna has been extremely inconsistent his entire career. I do like that Atlanta re-signed him, and his value stayed high on my list because he's in Atlanta. If he would have went somewhere where he was like trying to carry the offense, I wouldn't have believed in that at all. So I think it's a good fit for him, but I think number 10 overall is a little bit of a reach, to be honest with you.
I thought so too. Top 20, yes, not top 10.
We're coming up on the end of our show, so we'll go ahead and do one more run through. So we'll go ahead and draft us a reliever. The best relievers available right now are Rosenthal, Hand, Bradley, Ryan Presley, who I guess is going to be the closer in Houston. So we got a couple of picks before that. Melanson, I guess he's going to be the closer in San Diego, unless they are going to do by committee. That's interesting because that's a really good team that he's going to be closing for. But let's go ahead. What are you saying, Brad Hand? You like?
Yeah.
All right, we'll grab Hand, and then we need to. Let's go ahead and get either a first baseman or outfielder. First baseman. Myers, Muncy, Hoskins, Bohm.
In that group, go ahead and take Muncy. He's the most consistent in that group.
All right.
His numbers are worth it.
All right, we'll go ahead and grab Muncy. So that's what the team looks like. We got pretty good starting pitching, and I think our overall lineup looks pretty decent. This is a 10-man league, so there you have that. It's time to turn back time and do our walk-offs and everything. So let's go ahead and get into that. Let me get all this junk out of my screen so I can focus on the task at hand. By the way, are you going to get into any March Madness fun? You fill out brackets or what?
Yeah, I'm playing the fantasy basketball this season. I'm actually starting to understand the game. So yeah.
All right, it's time to turn back time. Here we go on, what is today? March 8th. We're already on March 8th. Seems like just yesterday we were cursing 2020. Turn back time. All right. On this date in 2006, the Canadian team, made up mostly of minor leaguers, stuns the baseball world by beating the highly favored Team USA in the first round of the WBC Classic. It was the first WBC Classic. Of course, we have not had it in a few years because the pandemic screwed all that up. They hope to have it. I don't think they're talking about possibly having it next year, but I think it's more likely it's going to come back in 2023. So I know there's people that poo-poo on that, but I actually like that. This is also the 50th anniversary of when Joe Frazier ends Muhammad Ali's 31 fight winning streak at Madison Square Garden. He retains his heavyweight boxing title by unanimous points decision over 15 rounds, known as the fight of the century. Of course, a few years later, you would get the Thrill in Manila, et cetera, et cetera. But the original fight, the first fight, Joe Frazier did not go down. Joe Frazier won it. Mm-hmm. Birthdays. Everyone always forgets that.
Yeah.
See what we got here on birthdays today. Lance McCullers. Man, is that right? 56 years old, Lance McCullers. Kenny Smith. Kenny the Jet Smith. He is 55 years old today. That doesn't seem possible. It seems like just yesterday he was winning championships with the Rockets.
Yeah.
I want to say there was here we go. Steve Sarkisian. No, not that one. CFL quarterback. He's what is he, 47 years old today? And one more. No, I guess that's it. I thought I had another one here on my list, but I guess that's it. It's kind of a dull day for birthdays, to be honest with you. What is your walk off today, sir?
My walk off today is I think it was just the other day they had 2 Cleveland Indian players put on COVID for breaking COVID protocols. My walk is I hope we don't have another season because players can't, follow the protocols, and we start losing games just players because they can't be disciplined.
It was Cleveland last year that had that problem, remember?
Yeah, and they're already got 3 players on the COVID protocols because they broke protocol.
Ugh. Which I don't know what that means nowadays. I don't know how well it's been lifted and all that. I think there comes a point where these players are just getting tired of being told what to do, I get it from the business side of it, why they have these protocols, but I can also see why the players get a little fed up with it. My walk-off today is that we do have a couple of, lower tier college basketball championship games going on. So we look up for, so we look, yes. Brian's asking me, if we're going to have an armchair quarterback league bracket, we will do that. we will set that up and always get that set up. It's always a lot of fun. We usually do it off of the ESPN app or whatever, and we usually just do it for fun. But you got a couple of the college basketball tournaments, championship finals are coming to fruition, and then we have some Major League Baseball today. Let me double check this. I want to say that there is possibly a game. No, I guess never mind. I guess you're gonna have to have MLB.TV today to watch baseball, but there are a few games that are on, but there are none on ESPN or MLB Network, which is why the hell is MLB Network not televising more of these games live?
Don't know.
I mean, what the hell? In years past, they used to do it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to do except for just put your feed into, like, let's say the Pirates TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Really strange. I got a chance to watch the Braves against Boston yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I watched the whole thing through because I want to see. I don't really give a crap what the hitters do because I usually find out that the players. Long story short, it's more about the pitchers than there is the hitters. We got to run. We'll see you tomorrow. Great job, Doug, and we'll see you next week.
All righty.
Goodbye, sweetheart, well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart, goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.